Okay, y'all. So first, I like to point out the fact that I was like 19 years old at the time, and he was more than likely about 23. So we were both young, and if I'm gonna be honest, he was definitely like a rebound for me because at the time, the guy that I was liking or the guy that I actually wanted to be with, he was just playing like he was playing too many games and it wasn't really like solid, like it wasn't really like stamped that we were in a relationship. So I didn't feel like playing those games anymore. And that's pretty much where it all started. I was in a bad place and I was just trying to figure it out. So I had a coworker that I would go to work every day and just pretty much let her know my situation, right? And she was like, well, my fiance, he has a friend that, he's single. We can probably double date and we can go from there. And I'm like, how does he look? I'm like, show me a picture of how he looks. So she showed me a picture of how he looked, and I was like, okay. I was okay. I don't mind doing a double date. So, and I'm not gonna give his name for reasons, but whatever. Anybody who know me know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, you know what, y'all? I'm starting to think they was all in on this together. So we did the double date and it was cool. Like we connect. He was funny, it was cool. So from the double date, we didn't need the girl, like my coworker anymore, like organizing anything because I was skeptical about giving my number and everything. So everything went through her at first. And then after our double date, I was like, okay, well, I gave him my number that day and I'm like, let's just keep in touch or whatever. So we definitely like hooked up like on our own dates and movies and stuff outside of the girl that I was working with. And I just thought it was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So but again, he was like a rebound to me. So I thought that like the time that I was passing with him, that maybe the other guy would actually come around, right? Anyway, that didn't ever happen. But anyway, so I believe like probably like within, let me see, I don't want to miss anything. It wasn't like we couldn't really get together every single week. At that time, that was 19. I had a 4-year-old daughter. I worked full time, so it was just a matter of catching up with me. And then I had like I would party sometimes. Like whenever my daughter was my 4-year-old was with her father, I would like find weekends to go do things that I wanted to do with my friends. So it was like a tough time catching up to me, but whenever we did catch up, it was cool. I didn't see anything that was wrong with him. He was a nice guy, actually. So probably like 4 months into us talking, he was kind of like, what is this? Like, I'm wanting to be in a relationship. Are we going to be in a relationship? And I'm like, and the other guy, he hadn't come around. So I'm like, why not? You know what I'm saying? So we jumped into a relationship, and I just remember I was like standing out at his house and everything, and if some lady used to come over there and bring him mail. And I'm like, what is this mail about? Like, what is this mail about? So it's like he would hold that mail clutch. Like he would not let that mail go. It was like he was holding that shit hostage. And I'm like, I gotta see what's in that mail. So one day he actually went to work and he left me. He left me at the house. So I'm like, ooh, my chance to get to see what's in the mail, right? So I didn't open any I didn't open any closed mail. I kind of like opened what he had opened already, and I'm looking at it, and it was from like immigration, and I was like, immigration? Like I would have never thought he was an immigrant, right? So the letters and stuff was from immigration. It was pretty much talking about how they denied him and that he can't get a green card and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh shit! Like I'm like, wow, okay. So, but I didn't know anything about any of that. I'm just like, what does that mean? Because at this point, like we're friends and we're on a whole nother level, and I didn't know what that meant. So when he came back home, I'm like, oh, so what happened? Like I left it to where he knew that I had opened it, and I asked him, I'm like, so what had happened? And he was just like, no, it's just my green card and my worker's permit had expired, and I tried to apply for another, and I can't, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about my job. And I'm feeling like, us when we feel bad, and again, y'all, at the time, I'm like I probably just turned 20, I don't know. At the end of the day, I was young, he was young, and I'm just like nobody had told me about that type of stuff and how to watch out for that type of stuff. So I was definitely gullible to it. The only reason I snooped through his mail because I'm like, what the hell is he hiding? Like, why is he holding this shit so clutch? Like, what's going on? I thought it was like a medical condition or something. You know what I'm saying? So I was so happy that it wasn't that. But anyway, he was like pretty much they denied him, and he don't know what he's gonna do about his job because they won't let him work without a permit. So I'm just like, damn, I'm trying to see how I can help him. And then his next appointment, I was like, well, is there any way that I can help you? Because I'm American, and I'm like, is there any way that I can help you? And he was just like, no, I don't know. He was like, well, let's see. So I went to like a doctor, not a doctor. I went to like one of his immigration's appointments with him, and they were pretty much giving a rundown of what we would have needed if I wanted to help him. So we pretty much had to get married. We had to have a kid to make it look realistic. We needed to have like a joint bank account. And at the time, honestly, I was like probably like 3 months pregnant, like 12 weeks pregnant at the time anyway. So when they were giving us the rundown, I'm like we already got one out of the other three. So, we went and got married, and then we got a joint bank account, and we had already had bills and stuff in our name because we lived together at this point, So it's so crazy because we go back to another appointment after we done had the baby, we done got married, we done did all these things, and we go back to the appointment, and they would be all up in our business, like wanting to know this, wanting to know that, and I started looking like, this is getting a bit too much now, it was crazy, and they kept denying him for some reason. They kept saying no. So I asked him, I'm like, well, what's the story? Because I already felt like he lied to me, and I asked him what was the story behind why he couldn't get, his papers, why they kept denying him, even though we had done did everything. They saw proof of everything. I didn't understand why they was denying him. So he pretty much was like, oh, he think that his mom brought them here, him and his sister here illegally when they were kids. And I'm like, do you think or do you know that? He's like, I think that was the case. So I think this is why it's giving me a hard time. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So, time passed. A lot of other things happened within our relationship that just divided our trust. We didn't, it was a lot of crazy stuff that happened. And I think I didn't even want to be in it anymore. I didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, but I still wanted to help him. I still wanted to be there and see if I could help him. And he was cool with that too. But we had one last appointment, and the lady was like, it was like at this big building. I'll never forget. I met him at this building. I'm like, yeah, we gonna go in there. We weren't divorced just yet. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go in there, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. And he's just like, cool. So we get in there, and the lady is like, pretty much, we can't help you. You came here legal, and the only way that you could come, the only way you will be able to ever get a green card or a worker's permit from here is if you go back to where you came from, which he was actually from Haiti. If you go back to Haiti for 10 years, and then you'll be able to come back to the U.S., being that you have a daughter here, but you have to go back to Haiti for 10 years. And she's like, and that's it. That's the only way. And we kind of looked at each other and was like, damn. So after that meeting, I saw a completely difference in him, in the way that he treated me, in the way that he talked to me. It was almost like, you know what I'm saying? And I guess, I don't know how that feels, and I don't know what it was, but it just let me know that he really didn't care about me. He was just worried about what I could help him with. And I only say that because that's all we were focused on. After I kind of read that letter, that's all he ever really wanted from me. Y'all, and if I'm gonna be honest, truth be told, he had never had a green card, and he had never had a work's permit. Never. So all that was a complete facade. It was a lie. Some shit that he just told me, I guess, because he felt like that I would be gullible and just accept that shit. But he never had a green card, and he never had a worker's permit. He never had none of that. So, during our process where I was trying to help him, they did give him a temporary social, and they did give him a worker's permit, but that was off the strength of us being married and us having a child together. And they felt a little sorry for him and wanted him to be able to provide and make money for his family. But again, that job that he was working with, they never let him go because he's been working illegally through them anyway. So, all that was a fake. And y'all, seriously, when I think back to the entire process, when I think back to the entire relationship, shit just moved way too fast. Everything was just moving, it was going, and it was moving way too fast. And now, after it was all said and done, I realized why. You know what I'm saying? But that was so crazy. And then even after the divorce and everything, he hasn't even been there for his child. So it's just damn, I've been bamboozled. I mean, it's not funny, but you know, it's out there, and I was definitely a victim of it. And it's so crazy because in the midst of it, you could not tell me that this is what Buddy wanted. Nobody could tell me that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's crazy. So yeah, that's how that I think back to a lot of stuff that happened when I was younger, and you know where my mindset was during that time and now, and I'm just like, girl, it was crazy as hell. But you know, that's what happens when you just be out there and you don't have any guidance, you don't have people telling you stuff. And honestly, I just thought I knew everything anyway. But like now, as the age that I am, and I think back to a lot of things that I've been through when I was younger, it's just like, wow, girl, you didn't know anything, you are crazy, like seriously. But anyway, so that's the story of whether it was love or did he just want papers. And honestly, he just wanted papers. And you know, I'm just happy that that's behind me and that that's over with. And I honestly didn't care because I thought I was going to be helping a friend after I actually figured out what it really was. But yeah, that was crazy. But anyway, so yep, that's my story. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time, peace.